going live. I'm going live.
Go
Two,
live
one.
or get a hive.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the 8634 with your host, Donnie Mac and Marshentime coming at you live. How you feeling over there, Donnie Mac? You got the groove going, buddy.
Hey man, you always feeling good when the dances and just go like this, brother.
Oh, man. Well, hey, what are we going to talk about today, buddy? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Football, and probably some more football. We might sprinkle a little bit of baseball in there on top of that because it's getting close
Of
to
course.
October. A couple of teams has clinched the playoffs, but mostly
Yes, sir.
football, man. Let's do
Yeah,
this.
I mean, football's going crazy. We got our fantasy teams going. Our fantasy team is 2-0. We're
2 and
feeling
0.
pretty good about that.
2 and 0.
You know what I
Marching
mean?
time. You did pretty good
Looking
with
pretty
that
good,
first
man. I'm
number
telling you,
one
buddy.
pick. You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
CMC is
CMC,
coming
buddy.
through.
He's
Oh
looking
my
pretty
God.
strong. Hey, man,
Looking
I'm glad
good,
we went with
looking
him instead
good.
of Austin Eckler because he's not looking too good.
So through 2 weeks of football, let me ask you this, Martian time. I'm going to drop a
Ooh,
bomb on you real
he's
quick.
already he's already doing it.
I'm
He's already
already
doing
going to
it.
be a PITA
God,
to you,
what a
man.
guy!
I'm going to
What
drop
a
a
guy!
bomb on you. So this is
What you
pretty
got?
important, through two big weeks of this season. And I
Yeah,
call them big weeks because a lot
that's true.
has
True.
happened in these 2 weeks that we didn't expect to happen. What is two of the biggest outlooks, negative and positive, that you noticed after week 1 and 2?
So you want a positive and a negative?
I want a positive and a negative. What's a real
Ooh.
disappointer, downer for the NFL, for you, for
All right.
everybody
All right. All
out
right.
there, for a team? I mean, it's opinionated. Give me your best
Yeah,
outlook.
that's
I
true.
mean,
That's
what
true.
what what
Listen,
has
man.
what has set this season in a different motion than you thought it was going to go?
Listen, the 49ers, I love the way they're playing, and I love the way the Rams are playing. I love the way Seattle's playing. That division has gotten. I'm going to love that division now. I'm going to be honest. That division's going to be shocking, I think, to people.
It's starting
I
to
think the
shape up, isn't
49ers
it?
are just going to run away because that team's tough to beat. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if there's a team that can beat the 49ers right now the way they look. With Brock Purdy throwing the ball perfectly and CMC, we just talked about him
Yeah,
running the ball.
we
The
literally
dude
just
is
talked
putting
about
up
him.
numbers who just, I mean, what can you do to stop this guy? He's insane. He's
He,
absolutely insane.
he's an absolutely monster.
I mean, he just went up against the Rams and did this. The Rams have normally a top 5 defense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, Cody. Let's not forget
Yeah,
that. That
I
the
mean,
same very Rams you're talking about with the same quarterback and most of the same players.
listen, and then we got a negative. We're going to talk about a negative real fast.
Let's talk about
The Chicago Bears offensive line.
it.
I'm sorry.
Just the
Justin
Chicago
Fields,
Bears.
dude, I'm sorry, man. Like, I predicted them to do pretty well this year.
Good
I'm
call.
sorry. I'm taking it all back. Like,
Hey,
I'm
it's a good
taking it
call.
back. You
But you
guys
also
suck.
called that Rams. You also called that Rams. I
I did. I
remember
did.
that back in
And
one
I
of
called the
the.
Giants sucking too.
Yeah,
So,
you did. You did. You did. You said that.
So,
But you called the Rams. I'll give you a one up on that. But the negative, that's got to be a big negative for everybody. Justin
it's
Fields,
horrible.
Chicago with the whole media fiasco.
Yeah.
If they don't figure something
Something.
out, they will be the Detroit Lions of old, you know?
I like it. That's a good way to put it too, because they deserve to be at this point. It's bad.
Exactly.
I'm a
Exactly.
little bit ashamed of them. But hey,
So
man,
what
all
do you
right,
got,
you
man?
asked
What
me.
do you got?
You asked me a question. I got to throw a question at you.
Okay.
After these first 2 weeks, what coach is on the hot seat right now? The hottest seat that you think he has to win right now to do something to get his fan base turned around? Something, like just doesn't help himself out.
Um, I think number one, it's got to come to everybody's mind, and it's without a doubt. I can't really say hot seat. It's warm, not hot. Sean Payton. I've got to
Sean
say it.
Payton.
Listen,
Ooh,
when you come in
bomb
as
drop.
yeah, when you come in as the Super Bowl winning quarterback coach that you are, I mean, you're the dude, you're this, and you get to where you're going. You think you got a prize in a quarterback that you have, and then you start talking smack about the previous guy that you took his spot.
Yeah, and
Hey,
not doing any better.
at that point right there, a lot of PR things do happen even when you're a head coach. And if they put that pressure on the owner that you talk that smack and you couldn't back it up real far, you know what? Everybody's seen that movie Draft Day. That
That's
junk is
true.
for real, man. That junk is for real.
Listen, man.
Uh,
I mean, I
Number
agree
one,
with that
Sean
pick, but
Payton.
I see another one, man. That's on the bigger hot seat than he is. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay.
And that's Brandon Staley for the
That's a
Chargers.
that's a very good one. That's a very good
This
one.
dude, man, he's got to do
Yeah,
something. Like he's got to change. He's keeps
that's
failing the Chargers, who have a really good team all around. You
that's a
got
good one.
Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa on the defense. You got Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler all on the offense, and you're losing games
Yeah, yeah. Well,
to the Tennessee Titans. To be fair, too.
you bring in a new offensive coordinator. Get rid of your other offensive coordinator. You shift
Yeah,
things around to make things better. Uh, Big news for him. It's not working out the way it is for Dallas. I mean,
yeah,
it's
that is
working
true.
out. It's
That is
working
true.
out pretty. The shift that's a really big call on that one. Staley is definitely on the hot seat. If not a number one, he's a number two for me in my book too. I'm just saying, if you're Sean Payton, you got the clout. You can't come in
No,
talking smack
I know what you're saying too. I
and then
agree
get
with
beat
that.
around by
I agree with that. I agree.
The Washington football
Yeah,
Commanders. I
you know,
mean,
you make a 70-yard Hail Mary, and then you can't even get a 2-point conversion. That's pretty bad.
yeah, even though I do side on them, but this is football. I do side. The referees miss calls all the time. They should not have been in that
That's
position.
every.
They
Well,
should
no,
not have been
that's
in that position with the
yeah.
Commanders in overtime like that. So, yeah, right. Sean Payton, you're on the hot seat, buddy.
Listen,
So,
man, I agree. You
hey,
know,
listen,
I
let's
like the
move
way you're
on
saying.
to this week. Last week,
All
a
right,
lot of
let's
things
do it.
happened. Okay. And before we do that, though, I want to talk about one real thing. Like, we were just talking about a certain division, right? Denver,
Yep.
San Diego, or Los Angeles. That whole division right there is kind of looking shady. And when I say shady, not as strong as we would have perceived them in the past, right? They've
Yeah, with
gotten
Kansas
shaky
City,
problems
and
going
yeah, you're
on.
right.
Las Vegas, their
Not looking
Jacoby
good. Yep.
Myers is shaking up. Devontae Adams. I mean, it's not looking so positive. Then you got Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. They're scraping things out. But number one, week one didn't look good. You have some shady contract, or when I say shady, some different contract deals going on for the end of the season.
True. True.
That now the strongest division, let me point this out. By record, strongest division is not the one I would have guessed at the beginning of the season, and that's the NFC East. With Dallas going 2-0, Washington Commanders are 2-0, the
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles are 2-0, and then you got the
Yeah.
Giants that are 1-1.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
you're right. Listen, and you know
bam.
what other? But wait, do you know what division is second?
No, point that out.
The NFC South.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, with the
3-2-0
Buccaneers,
teams.
New
The
Orleans.
Bucks
Yeah,
2-0, New Orleans, Atlanta. They're all
yeah,
2-0.
they're all 2-0, but Carolina broke that up with
What?
their 0-2 record. They're
I mean,
number
yeah,
two.
but
You're
still,
right.
like,
They're
come
number
on,
two.
man.
I mean, and I
Hey,
like the
just
way
so
the
you
Bucks are
know,
going. I like the way the Bucks are going, and
hey,
the
who put Atlanta
NFC.
in the playoffs though? I'm putting
You
Atlanta in the
did.
playoffs still, buddy.
You
I'm
picked
just
them to
saying.
win that division. You picked them to win
I'm
that
telling you,
division.
man. I think they're still going to do it. Bijan
I don't.
Robinson's going to come in.
I don't know if Baker's going to let that happen, though. I don't know
Oh,
if
he's going
Baker
to
and
make it
Mike
happen,
Evans are
man.
going to
He's going to let it happen. He's going to let it happen. You know
And
how
I don't
Baker
care what
Mayfield is. He
anybody
shows off a
says.
couple games.
I don't care what anybody says. There's not one team in the NFL that's going to go undefeated. So all
No,
those
there's not a team that can do
zero loss columns, they're going to suffer a loss at some point somewhere during the season. And I'm going to pick
100%.
one of them tonight.
Ooh, hey, I'm going to do that to you. I'm going to you later on when we start doing our picks. You may pick a team, but I'm going to make you pick an upset. You have to pick one upset this week. One
Yeah,
big
I've got
upset
one
that
of
you
them.
see you feel. All right,
I've got
all right,
one for you. I've got one for you,
all
and it's
right.
going to shock everybody. I'm not sure about shock
Okay.
everybody, but we're going to go through the full list of NFL matchups today, right down the
Let's do it. Yeah,
line.
we're gonna do it a little quick. We're gonna do it a little quickly. If bigger games, we're gonna talk about a little bit more. But some games, there's just not much to talk about, like tonight's game. Let's be honest.
And the big
Who's playing
update.
tonight?
I
Who's
mean,
playing tonight?
I mean, we're talking about San Francisco and
To San Francisco.
and
It's just San
the
Francisco.
New York Giants. I mean, and now this is a New York Giants team that did have a better second half last week. Not against
against the Arizona
not against a
Cardinals.
worthy opponent, but they did put up 31 points in the
No,
second
no, we're
half. Is
not.
pretty impressive.
No,
Now,
I don't care. No,
the first 6 quarters of their NFL season, they got outscored
zero.
60-0. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's not very impressive. So we're gonna be watching Christian McCaffrey show tonight on Thursday Night Football. So
Of
tune in,
course.
watch them
We're
at
gonna let him get a couple
8:30.
touchdowns for us. Make our fantasy team go 3-0, buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna go 3-0 on that. So start us out week one. Marshentime, we got a battle. He kicked my butt in week one of the NFL season. I kicked his butt in week two of the NFL
Yeah.
season. We have a NFL Pigskins pool. It's live, 863 Sports Buzz, just like we do it here. Go check it out. It's live, it's public. You can see what
Come and do
Marshentime
it.
and I've done. Join with us. Kick our butts and
Yeah.
come on there and talk some smack.
I mean, you can probably kick Donnie Mac's butt. It's not very hard, guys. I had to make him feel better. I kept beating him and everything. I had to make him feel a little bit better. So, I just had to throw that in there.
So that's what
feel a little bit better.
That's what we're going to do now. We're just gonna go from top to bottom, Marshentime. Name them off, and we're going to give you a reason why we think things are going to happen the way they do.
All right. Let's do it, man.
You'll see how much Marshentime and myself clash right here. You see that. This is fun to watch, guys. This is the PITA round. Check it out. New York Giants against the Niners. 49ers. We've already agreed. We've already agreed.
It's not even a question.
We've already agreed.
No problem.
Christian McCaffrey's going to throw 3 touchdowns. Tennessee, Cleveland.
This is going to be an interesting game, man. I'm telling you. And I feel bad for the guy. Probably the greatest running back right now in the league. I hope he gets better. Nick Chubb, prayers out to you, buddy. Come on back strong. Come back stronger.
Straight. And I hope we can come back, man. I hope it was a pleasure watching you play football. We want to see you again. But Tennessee, Cleveland, who are you taking, Marshentime?
Listen, after that big loss to Cleveland, I don't know if I can pick them. I got to go with Tennessee and King Henry. And I think King Henry controls the game, and I think that's the reason they won this game. I don't think Cleveland has an answer now, and Deshaun Watson is just not the guy. Tennessee wins this game for me.
I'm gonna agree with you on that. Now, the only thing that Cleveland has going for him now, and defense still reigns supreme sometimes in the NFL. We saw Pittsburgh beat Cleveland after Chubb went out because of a defensive turnover. They scored twice on defense. Now,
Deshaun Watson.
Well, I mean, Deshaun Watson is not, he's the worst QBR in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
They better hope he goes back to the old Houston form. I'm not a believer in this Cleveland team right now, but what I am a believer in is that defense. They still got a pass rush. Those guys are still hungry. They've got something to prove. They're in the dog pound. This is going to be a fighting game right here. Cleveland did sign Kareem Hunt. If they get to the running game and try that two-headed attack like they should, that's their only hopes of going. But their two-headed attack is not better than Tennessee's, led by Derrick Henry.
I'm sorry, man. Derrick Henry is just he's
that defense in Tennessee is just as good as that one in Cleveland. Cleveland might be a tad bit better. Tennessee wins this by about a touchdown.
All right, moving on. Move on to the next game.
Atlanta and Detroit. Who are you taking here, Marshentime? Come on, man.
I started off last game, man. You started off this one. Let's go.
Atlanta, Detroit. Atlanta's 2-0. Detroit's 1-1. This is a very tricky game. Detroit lost one last week, and they lost one to a Seattle team that flashed back to that Seattle form we were used to seeing last season.
That was true.
And they didn't expect that. None of us expected that. Not after what Seattle got done to them in week one. LA just handed it to them. The Rams did their thing. This is going to be a game of the week right here. Atlanta, Detroit. I'm taking Detroit at home. I'm at St. Brown. He's going to catch 2 touchdowns, probably a $180 on 10 catches, man.
Wow, you're going big.
Listen, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have a field day. We're finally going to see this guy run. Robinson on the other side of the ball, they're not going to get away from running with Algier and Robinson. They're not going to get away from that. They're going to try and match Detroit, but they can't match them in that passing game. That gives Detroit the edge in this one. I like Detroit by at least 6 in the fourth quarter with a good coming drive. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I like the way you're going with it. I like where you're going on the running game. But I'm going to be honest, man. The way Bijan Robinson played last week, he
He
looked
was good.
like a stud.
Yeah,
And
he did.
Algier, we already seen him. He looked like a stud week one. If they
Yes, he
can
did.
keep the ball on the ground and keep Detroit off the field, I think Atlanta's defense can actually control this game and pull off an upset. I don't think they're going to. I think Detroit's going to end up winning the game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than what you're saying. I think it's going to be like a field goal, not by very much. I think Atlanta's defense is going to surprise a lot of people as they get farther in the season. I'm going to keep Detroit. I'm going to go with you on that, but be ready for Atlanta to have an
Wow.
upset, buddy. Be ready
Wow.
for Atlanta.
Wow.
I'm
That's
just
your
saying. I'm
upset
still picking them.
possibility?
It's a possibility. I'm still picking them to go to the playoffs, so I got to
Hey,
throw that
we're
out
not
there.
playing for money now. You can go with your heart on this now. If you
Yeah,
really
we're
feel
moving on. We're
that, if
moving
you
on though.
really
No,
feel
we're moving on. We're moving on.
it.
Moving on. New Orleans, Green Bay. I'll start it off.
Go
Jordan
ahead.
Love has come out and looked really good.
Yes.
You got to think about this. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers was sitting on the bench for a couple of years before he came out under Brett Favre, and look what he did. Jordan Love did the same thing. He sat on the bench. He's learned from a legend.
Yes, he
I
has.
think that's helping their quarterbacks. Jordan Love has come out to a huge surprise, and I think their defense is a little bit under the radar. New Orleans defense, of course, is good. You know, their starting safety though went out. Under some off-field incidents, so we're not going to talk about that too much. I'm going to go with a
Now you can
surprise
talk
here.
about
I'm
it.
going to pick Green
Don't
Bay.
drink and
I'm going to
drive,
pick Green
kids.
Bay.
That's what
Yeah,
happened. He
yeah,
was
it's
drinking
so
and
good.
driving. He got caught. He got
It's
suspended for
stupidity.
3
Don't do it.
games. Don't do it.
Green Bay upset
Gr-
New Orleans in Green Bay in Lambeau. Green Bay wins this game by a touchdown.
Yeah, I think you're being generous by a touchdown. The way Jordan Love has come
Wow.
out at the beginning by a touchdown, I like him by 10. I'm going to side with you with Green Bay. That safety being out, he had 9 tackles, I believe, last week. 9 tackles. That is huge run support. When you can bring a safety up, not only play the secondary and the dime package, but bring them up in the box and make some tackles on those slants and everything. That's a big deal. That's a big deal for me. Without a guy like that in the secondary, don't rule out
It's hard to
Derek
beat. It's
Carr.
hard to beat.
Derek Carr is not the guy, man. He is not the guy.
Yeah,
He's
he's
going
not
to
what we
try and
thought he was
force
going to
one
be.
or two, and he's going to have a pick six. That Green Bay defense, that secondary, is going to score in this game. Watch.
Listen, we're moving on to the next game. This
Okay.
game, I don't know if there's much to talk about. I'm going to Sean Payton on the hot seat, a little bit
Yeah.
on the warm seat, as you call it. Miami's just got the offense, dude. I'm telling you, I love their offense right now. I'm
They're
not. That's all
potent.
I can say. Their whole offense is just speed, 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 and more speed.
Yeah.
And their defense is getting better. Miami wins this by 14.
Yeah. I can definitely agree with you on that. At least double digits. Miami's offense is the most prolific offense in the NFL. There's no question about that. Given Jalen Waddle is out this week, he may
That
not
is
be
true.
playing. He may not be playing. He's pretty much
Yeah,
ruled
he's got
out.
concussion protocol. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty much ruled out, but they don't need him. We've saw that passing attack. Tua doesn't go for 466 yards just to 2 guys. He didn't do it.
I agree.
200 I give him to Tyreek Hill, which is the number 1 player in the NFL. I don't care who you say, but
Yeah.
Miami wins this by double digits. I agree.
Moving on to the next game. I think this is the game of the week.
I think so
The
too.
Chargers versus Minnesota. This game is going to shock people, man. I'm telling
It's
you,
a good
gonna be
one.
Fun game to watch. I started off the last one. Start it off, buddy.
Man, I don't. LA's 2-0, Minnesota's 1-1 with Jeff
No,
or
they're what I'm
0-2.
talking
My
about. They're
bad.
both 0-2.
My
They're both
oh
0-2. They're both 0-2, buddy.
really?
Yeah, Chargers lost
I
to Tennessee and Miami. Minnesota lost to Tampa Bay and
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Rams. My bad. My bad.
nah,
Chargers
yeah.
and Minnesota.
Some there,
Yeah,
buddy.
my bad.
Some there.
Kellen Moore, Dale Staley. This is the guy you put on the hot seat, actually.
Yeah,
Staley is
Brandon
definitely,
Staley.
he is one of the biggest hot. You know what? He's going to continue to be on fire after this game because he's going to be 0-3. That's a good call on that.
Really?
My eyes aren't that good. I can't see your board, but I see that Minnesota. I think
LA
Kirk
versus
Cousins.
Minnesota, man.
That Kirk Cousins show slows down now. They went and got Cam Akers from the Los Angeles Rams. Minnesota did. He's going to help Madison a lot in that game. I think they're going to learn a little bit by that and try to control the ground game because they know if they put Kellen Moore in that offense in the time that they need to score, they're going to try and score. instead of trying managing the ball and get the first down, they're going to try and shoot that ball down the field and fail like we saw last week and the week before that. They will go 0-3. Minnesota will put that pressure on them in Minneapolis.
Listen, man, I'm sorry for what you're saying. I think you're wrong. I think Brandon Staley gets this win. I'm going to be honest. I think they're going to come out strong. They're going to come out crazy. They're going to come out and win this game by 14 because Kirk Cousins is going to. Because you think they're going to run the ball. I'm sorry. Minnesota's not going to run the ball. If they were going to do it, they would have done it against the Philadelphia Eagles, this high-powered offense, just as
You
high-powered.
could be right about that.
And
you could be right about that.
I don't know what is going through their coach's head.
LA can't
They
run
have
the
to
ball.
fix something.
They've got nobody to run the ball. Kelly can't do it himself.
I don't think it matters, man. Justin Herbert's just. If I have to take two quarterbacks, Justin Herbert or Kirk Cousins, I'm taking Justin Herbert, and
Every
that's
time.
why I'm going to go with him, man. I'm going to go with LA. I'm going to go with the Chargers.
What's his final score? What's by 3? Okay. Is it going to be a high 31-28? Good. Okay, that's the first one we disagree on. That's the first one. You take LA?
Oh, no, yeah, we agreed on that one. I said that would be an upset.
Yeah, there could be an upset.
The Jets. It's going to be a fun game, man.
This is going to be a really good game.
What
this is going to be a really good game.
It was they've lost like the last
14 games against the New England Patriots. Yeah. They're at home.
You know
now.
what? They break that streak today.
Yeah.
They break that streak Sunday. They break it. I'm telling you.
You think so?
The Jets defense is ridiculous.
Sick. I think they're the best in the league besides the Cowboys.
That is the main reason they're going to win this game. New England's offense just isn't impressive. Mac Jones is not the answer. I'm sorry. No. You know, you call Tom Brady out of retirement or something, man. You got to get some other quarterback in there for you guys to do anything. New England's got a good defense. I think Bill Belichick will make this hard on Zach Wilson. But I think the Jets win by a defensive touchdown. I'm going to be honest. I think Mac Jones throws an interception or, gets them in the range, and then they're going to end up scoring that way. I think they're going to run the ball strong. Mostert from Miami had a huge game. Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook are better than Mostert. I'm sorry. And I think that's what ends up winning this game.
Yeah. But, again, Marshentime, this is a tough one for me. And ultimately, I'm going to decide to go with you with the Jets because that's the most comparable, logical pick. They're probably a 1.5 point favorite. I don't care. This right here, Bill Belichick, when you can corner, you got to make Wilson beat you, right? You got to make Zach Wilson beat you. You shut down that run game. You take away what is it? Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, you take that. I mean, you make him single-handedly beat you. You shut down their number one receiver, and what do they got left? This is a very hard one, man. The very, very hard one. Man, just like Pittsburgh, Cleveland had it beaten those guys at home in Pittsburgh in like 30 games, something like that. I'm going with New England. I'm going to go with New England. I think they shut down that running game and they try and make Zach Wilson beat him. It doesn't work. Okay. On the other half, we're going with Buffalo and Washington.
Washington, buddy.
That's the one I think is the biggest upset of the week right here.
You're choosing Washington, huh?
Yeah, I'm choosing Washington just because Howell is the number one quarterback in the fourth quarter, and
you out of your mind.
And QBR, he is the best in the fourth quarter. He has not thrown an interception this year yet, and that defense just keeps winning. Washington wins this by 3 with their defense holding up, making Josh Allen, who's got the most turnovers in the league for the last 3 years. Did anybody know that? Josh Allen has got the most turnovers in the league for the last 3 years. He's going to do it again this week. He showed it in the first week against the Jets. It's going to happen again this week in Washington.
I'm not even going to answer this with a response. Buffalo wins this game. Josh Allen's a whole lot better. Josh Allen wins this game.
Josh Allen sucks.
Houston versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville wins this game. We're going to make this short and sweet. Jacksonville wins this game. Houston does not have an offensive line for C.J. Stroud. That's all that matters. Jacksonville wins this game. I'm going to try to make it short and sweet.
C.J. Stroud is also one of those quarterbacks. Hold on. He is also one of those quarterbacks that does not have an interception this year. They
Oh my
are
God,
they
you get out of here, man! They haven't played anybody good, and they're still
with
losing.
they are the worst team in the league
Oh
besides
my God,
Cleveland
get out
now.
of
I
here!
mean,
Oh my God, this guy.
for real.
I'm
I'm
sorry,
not
guys.
saying they win
He's
this
out of his
game in
mind. I'm
Jacksonville because
sorry.
Jacksonville lost a heartbreaker at home to Kansas City. That Jacksonville is way too good for Houston to come in there and beat them. This is a division game, but CJ Stroud is still one of those quarterbacks that has not thrown an interception all year. So it's not like I'm calling a long shot here. I'm taking Jacksonville, but you watch Houston give them a fight. Jacksonville is not going to walk over
Well, I
top of this
mean,
team.
all right, we're moving on. We're moving on. We're just moving on. Indianapolis, Baltimore. I think again, this is just it's an overpowered offense against a underpowered
See, I'm
team
going
that's
to
just not going to
disagree
work.
again. I'm going to disagree right there. Don't. No, I'm just kidding, Marshentime. I'm just kidding.
This guy, this guy, he's a
Baltimore's going to whip
PITA,
up on.
guys. Yeah, this game isn't even going to be close. Baltimore wins this game. We're
Baltimore's
going to
going to
keep
put
on
the
moving though.
smack down.
We can get some
Listen,
games going down here.
Lamar Jackson is going to have his biggest rushing game of the year in this game against Indianapolis because
I believe it. I believe
Baltimore
that.
doesn't have a big rushing game right now. He's going to have 150 yards on the ground. Watch.
Listen, we're moving on to another sneaky game: Carolina versus Seattle. I think Carolina, it just doesn't have enough answers right now. Bryce Young, Andy Dalton, they don't know what's
I
going
don't
on.
think it's sneaky.
Miles
Yeah.
Sanders hurt. Everything's a little sketchy. Seattle, the way they came back and played Detroit, Seattle wins this game probably by about 10 points.
Yeah, that's the Seattle that we wanted to see open in the season, just like the Detroit Lions we wanted to see open the season.
I
Carolina,
agree.
Bryce Young, their young quarterback, he leads the league right now in turnovers, right behind Josh Allen.
Mm.
These two guys are sucking up the field in the suck box. Carolina's got no answer because they call on the veteran Andy
Mm-hmm.
Dalton, and you know what? Who took his place over there in Cincinnati? We're sorry, Carolina's going to get their butt kicked once again in this division.
Listen, the next game is not even a game we need to talk about. I don't think either.
I
Chicago,
don't think
Kansas
so.
City. We've already talked about them
Everybody,
being that bad. It's
if you're a
Kansas City's going
sports
to win this
fan, you
game
know
by
how
like 21
bad.
points.
Yeah, you know how bad this is going to be for Chicago. Hopefully, they do
The next
something,
two games,
turn
honestly,
something around. Oh
and then
my
we got
gosh!
Dallas versus Arizona. Like this,
I mean,
this game's not even going to be close.
Dallas is pretty much not going to let Arizona even get close to the end
Yeah, I don't even
zone.
know if they'll score.
I don't
And
even
they may
know.
feel bad for him and let him score a field goal or something at the end of the game.
Arizona's only advantage to get a field goal is because they're at home. That's
Listen,
it.
now we got a little bit of an interesting game though. Pittsburgh versus Vegas.
Yeah, this is a really good one.
This one I like though. This one, Pittsburgh offense has got to prove something. They've got to do something. They have Najee Harris. They have George Pickens. They have Pat Fryermuth. And Kenny Pickett is just I don't Kenny Pickett's not the answer to me.
It's been a
And that's what worries me,
disappointment.
man.
It's been
But
a
the Raiders have
disappointment.
so many injuries. I have to go
Yes.
with Pittsburgh's defense to win this game.
Yeah.
Just like they won last week's.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's defense wins this game by 3.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a close game though.
I'm with you on that one, Marshentime. I'm gonna follow you up, and I'm gonna back you up with a couple of things that happened already. Las Vegas barely beat Denver. Denver held them to 21 points, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Or 17 points. They beat them by 1 point. They beat the Denver
16-17.
Broncos. Yeah, 16-17 by 1 point, and that was by accident. They're not going to do that to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh can outscore that offense. I'm going with you on that. Pittsburgh is going to put the defense on them. TJ Watt is just he's an animal, man. He's an animal.
He's huge.
Even
He's a
Fitzpatrick in the
beast.
secondary. I don't call that a dirty hit. He was playing football. That
Oh,
defense
no.
is
No,
really
that
good in
wasn't.
Pittsburgh. And they got to build on that. Tomlin is a defensive coach. They're going to build on that. They're a little bit better than Las Vegas.
Listen, we're moving on to the next game. You say this is going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be a good game. Philadelphia versus Tampa Bay.
No,
Philadelphia runs this game over, dude. I'm sorry. I don't know what you've been drinking, what you've been doing. Your mind's not there, man. This game is not going to be close. Jalen Hurts over Baker Mayfield any day of the week.
Well, I've been sniffing your craziness
going,
all
man.
week, dude.
Get
I've
outta
been
here,
sniffing.
man.
I've been listening to you all season,
something's wrong
talking
with you.
to, who cares about Tom Brady? And you know what? Baker Mayfield is not their answer, but he's like a Derek Carr is to New Orleans. That's why they're 2-0. You know that
I
there's
mean, I can
something
see that.
behind that.
You're right.
They got a certain guy that's out there on the other end of the ball, just like Justin Herbert, just like Tua needs a Jalen Waddle and a Tyreek Hill. You know, he's got a guy that's out there catching ball called Mike Evans. That guy's been there for a long time, and he's been doing what
No,
he's
you're
been
right. You're
doing for
right.
a long time. Now, when you couple that with a good defense and a solid running game, just like New Orleans, you now can compete and play football. I'm not calling them better than Philadelphia, but this goes back to what I'm saying at the beginning of this podcast when we launched this. Not every team is going to go undefeated. Not one team is going to go undefeated.
So,
Tampa Bay is
so
going to
you're
shock
so you're
the
saying Tampa Bay
world,
is going to win?
and
All right,
Tampa
all
Bay
right.
is going to win this game by one
Mm,
point.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what he's smoking right now. I'm sorry. Just ignore him, please. We're moving on to the next game. Like I don't
I
even.
make a lot of valid points, though. And
We're
don't
going to
forget
the
Goodwin.
final game of the week:
Let's do
the
this.
Cincinnati Bengals versus the Rams, buddy. The
This is going
Rams
to
are
be
going to
bad.
destroy your Cincinnati Bengals. I'm
Man,
sorry. Matthew Stafford is back,
he's on
and
fire.
he is going to destroy you guys. Their new running back Williams is setting fire to this field. I love him. I like him. And you know what? I'm sorry. Joe Burrow needs to sit out this game. He
He
needs to sit
does.
out. I
He
don't know
does.
why they're doing it, but they're going to end up hurting him. I'm telling you. But hey, it's your guys' team, so
He need, you know what, he definitely needs to sit out this game. I agree with you. They on paper right now, Cincinnati Bengals are going to get, for the lack of better words, they're going to get their ass kicked. Okay, Matt Stafford and his wide receivers and those running backs, he's got a wide receiver that leads the league in catches right now. He had
yeah.
15 catches last week. I can't pronounce his name, but he is one bad
Yeah,
mofo.
I'm not even gonna try it. I'm not even gonna try it. I'm not
Paku.
gonna
That's
try it.
what we know him as.
Paku
Paku.
Nakubi or something. Nakubi.
Yeah, Paku.
Yeah.
But not only that, but he had a couple more wide receivers come to 90 and
yeah,
100
yeah.
yards over the top.
You're
Now
right.
Joe Burrow coming back, I can see him leaving in the middle of the game. Do I want to say if he's in there without any ailments? Yeah, they'll go toe to toe and they will give
I
LA
agree. I
everything they
agree.
want. But right here live, Cincinnati at home, I don't believe in what they got going on. Joe Burrow is going to leave this game if he decides to play. LA is going to beat him by double digits.
I like it, man. Hey, those are all of our NFL picks for the week, though. But there's one
But
thing I want to throw at you right now.
okay.
Notre Dame, Ohio State plays this weekend, sir.
Oh
Number
my
6
God.
versus number 9. I'm
Oh,
throwing you on the spot, Ohio State fan.
oh
Who are you
man.
picking?
Wow, that's a very very big spot to put me
Ah,
on right now
I had
because
to,
I.
man. It's the last week. It's
It's
the, you
funny
know, it's
that
the, you know, we got to
it's
talk about it real quick.
it's funny that
Where'd
you were
you
saying
going?
that because at one point during the day today, it was about 15 minutes. I was thinking about this in my mind. I was like, this could play out two ways, but there's only one way I really see him playing out. They've have Ohio State's had no matches.
I
They've
know.
played nobody thus far, and they've struggled, barring last week. But last week they put up a good chunk of points, but against a third division team. So put me on the spot. Ohio State ranked number 4 in the new AP. I mean, Notre Dame is
Where are
right
you
behind them. I
going?
think there's number 6 or 7 right behind it. Notre Dame's at home. They're in South Bend, Indiana.
They are. They
Ohio
are.
State getting that running game going. Can they play solid defense? Is their quarterback good enough? Notre Dame good enough? This is going to be a
Do-do-do-do.
good one. I don't think Notre Dame's got what it takes to beat the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think the Buckeyes control the ground game. They control the offense and defense of the line, and
This
they
guy.
beat
This
Notre
guy.
Dame by 3 in South Bend, Indiana,
I
in
like it.
double
I like it.
overtime.
I like it, man. I like it. I like it.
I like them
Hey,
to go toe and
I
toe.
don't think you're gonna win, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm giving Notre Dame the edge. They've
Yeah,
played
if I
better
had
play
money,
teams
that's
already
who
so
I'd put
far.
my
So,
money on.
but hey, it's gonna be some interesting college football games this week. I just wanted to throw that out there. So we're
Yeah.
excited to watch that too. We kind of ran a little long on the NFL game, so I had to throw that in there last minute. There are a
Yeah,
couple
there's
other
a
games we gotta
couple
watch.
a couple really big top
Oregon,
25s.
Colorado, we gotta watch that
Yes.
game, guys.
I
Yeah,
did.
see how it all goes. Hey man, you got anything
Col-
else you want to add before we sign off?
Colorado, yeah, Colorado. I'm going to hint on that game a little bit. Colorado lost their big double offensive
Yeah.
defensive guy, Henry. He's going to sit out this week. He's going to be out for a little while. That's a big deal for Shakuri. He doesn't have that
100%.
big weapon right there. Oregon is a fast team from side to side. This is going to be a good one. Oregon should win this one.
I agree. Hey man,
That's it,
sign
man.
us off, Donnie Mac. Sign us off, buddy.
Hey, everybody that joined in with us live on YouTube, caught us live here, enjoyed Marshentime, Donnie Mac. This is 863 Sports Buzz Podcast. Catch us on Spotify. Same time next week, Thursday night, 7 o'clock.